Rob, I think you just summed it up, a bad day at the office today.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, we were uncharacteristically slow out of the blocks, and that kind of made the whole afternoon very difficult for us. I think our first couple of sets of defence was poor as I've seen us defend this season for various reasons. And when you get that kind of wrong against a good Bath side, they make you pay. And we paid in that first quarter. And as I say, that kind of dictated how the rest of the game went for quite a while, because we could never really create enough pressure moments then for it to be a real contest, because it wasn't like we could put a bit of pressure on and knock a penalty over and get the game squared up. We were always then chasing, and credit to Bath, they went for the game right from the start. Fair play, that's fair play to them. That's what we like to talk about doing. But it kind of they did it to us today. And if you miss individual tackles, if you get some system things wrong, when a team gets offloaded and gets on the front foot against you and gets hot ball, then it's going to be difficult. And it was difficult for us today. As
you said, a lot of uncharacteristic errors in there, and that was really playing the downfall in the first half, particularly. Yeah, I mean, there's two ways. I mean, you can't expect it to be absolutely perfect, because this team and most of these players haven't played a lot of rugby together, so it's not like you can have a fair expectation of everything going perfectly. But what I think you can expect individuals to be on the money a little bit more than some of them were today, and I think that's obviously what we'll address tomorrow. We'll look at the things we can work on team-wise, and we'll address any issues that kind of why individuals may be a bit off. But it's an extended group of players. We've played a lot of players in the last kind of 4 games, pretty much two different groups, and I think a lot of these guys have done very well. You've got to remember, some guys maybe haven't performed as well as they'd like to today, but they put in pretty good performances last week against a good Quins team. So I've never looked at the LV as win one and it's fantastic, lose one and it's doom and gloom. We don't approach it like that. We approach it obviously to try and win, but we approach it to develop players and develop things within the side as well. And some of those things came off today, but because of the nature of the game, too many didn't, and once the game got away from us, it became difficult for us to keep a rein on everything that happened, because it never became a pressurised game of rugby for Bath. And as I say, fair credit to them, they went for it from the off, and they reaped the rewards, and so they should have done. In terms of it all, though, you're always a man who likes to look for positives. Were there any today?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's always difficult when you review straight after a game to start pulling things out. But I'm sure by the time we've had a good look at it tonight and early tomorrow morning, that there'll be some standout performances out there, and I imagine there'll be some guys who did very little wrong and have added something to the whole thing. But the problem was in a team game when there are a fair few individual mistakes and a few poor individual decisions, collectively you suffer. We put a lot of importance on the individual responsibility of every player and the importance of their actions. The players are very aware of that, and you've got to get your little bits right. And we probably didn't get enough of the little bits right to create that full team performance you want. But as I say, it's far from the end of the world. We've got a huge game next week, Saracens at home, and we've got to make sure we kind of bounce through today, get recovered and look positively into next week.
As you just hinted, Saracens next week. What sort of threat do you see them posing?
Well, the threat that teams that can win the Premiership have, they're a good side, and we've always had very good games against them. And as I said, we'll have to be a lot better than we were today. But I'm kind of making that assumption that'll happen based on the form we've shown coming in today. Today's been a little bit of a slip up, but we are a team that are in pretty good form. We're not fourth in the Premiership because we're a poor side, and we're not top of our Cup group because we're a poor side. We didn't play as well as we'd have liked today, but we always like to say that we don't get on a massive roller coaster, and there won't be a massive downer after today, just like there wasn't a huge highs from last week. So we'll deal with today, and as I say, numerous players will be a lot better for being here today and just having game time. I mean, like Henry Slade is a perfect example. What's that? That's his second proper senior game he started at a high level, this season, and so he's going to be better for that. He's done had a fair bit of bench involvement, but his last couple of weeks he's had the chance to get out there and start and be involved in the team, and he'll only get better for that. And Luke Arscott and Jack Noel come out from injury, Hanksy back from injury, Greg Bateman back from injury, Romano Gray, all these guys, they'll all be much better for their minutes today, and that makes us better as a squad.
And in 2 weeks you're back here again in the Premiership. What will you have learnt from today?
Well, hopefully one of the bright sides of today's performance is you would hope we've learnt more than Bath maybe have about us. So let's hope that's the case. I mean, I would expect it to be. It'll have to be a different game than it was today, because we'll have to be a lot more competitive, particularly in the first quarter than we were today, and we'll certainly have to get out the blocks a lot better than we did. But that's 2 weeks away. That's not that important to me at the minute. What's going to be important now is getting this game covered off tomorrow and then preparing for Saracens.